Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the first edition of Drop In with Dave. My name is David Sandoval. I'm an author, a former radio show host, and an activist. But the most important thing you need to know is that I am here because I want to make a profound difference in your life. I believe that I have the knowledge that you could turn into power, and that with that empowerment, you are going to profoundly change the quality and the future of your life. And I have a purpose, and my purpose is to awaken every single human being to the amazing gift that we call life. And once you are aware of just how important this incredible gift of life is, I believe that you are going to make really important decisions in your own behalf and for your own good. And that is why my mission of ending human suffering is so really important. And it is going to be something that we are going to be intimately involved in the process of. We want you to be intimately involved in the process of creating vibrant health for your own body. You see, I have a philosophy, and that philosophy is that we are meant to live a long life free from disease, that we are meant to experience happiness, love, joy, and even ecstasy on a daily basis, and that when we shift our minds, when we make that profound decision to act in our own defense, that we are going to then make so much better decisions for our bodies. The truth is that we are what we eat. And the quality of our life might be directly related to the quality of the food we eat and to the thoughts that we actually have. And so let's start that journey. Let's start that journey of shifting our thoughts, of shifting our attitude, of embracing this amazing gift that we call life. And I want to tell you exactly what that potential has. You see, in today's world, we think of being 70 or 80 years old as being old. That's the age that most people die, between 70 and 80 years old. If someone lives to be 90, we consider that they've had a very long life, and 100 is almost unheard of. The problem is that human beings are actually designed by a great creator to live to be at least 100, 110, 120 years old. And we have the proof of that. I personally met Jeanne Calment when she was 119 years old. She lived 3 more years. So I personally have seen human beings live to be 110, 120 years old. And I ask myself, why do some people die at 55, 65, or 75? Why do they even die at 85 or 95? Why is not every human being experience the great potential that we have as humans? And the answer that I've discovered is that we are selling ourselves short, that we have never embraced food as the savior that it truly is. So let's talk about food philosophy. Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, actually said that food should be your medicine and medicine should be your food. And what exactly does that mean? Well, I've spent a substantial part of my life studying something called phytochemistry. Now, phytochemistry is a fairly new science that's been practiced since the beginning of time. I'm going to say that again. Phytochemistry is a fairly new practice that has been, phytochemistry is a fairly new science that has been practiced since the beginning of time. And here's what I mean. From the very beginning of man's existence, they have had to decide what is safe and what is good to eat. And at the beginning, what they would do is they would observe. You see, the first scientific theory obviously is observation and validation. And so early man were scientific in their approach to eating. They would observe what the animals ate. They would even observe what other humans ate. And if the animals and humans ate that food and did not get sick, then they would assume that that food would be safe to eat. Over time, if they ate a certain food that gave them a stimulating effect, they would take note of it. If it made them drowsy or sick, they would take note of it as well. And over the tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of years of man's existence, slowly they have evolved and developed these processes of selecting food. And so when we look at Paleo Man, Paleo Man would work up to 4.5 to 5 hours each day hunting and gathering. That means finding food to nourish them at the cellular level. And when Paleo Man was doing such, he would always use these observatory sort of powers, these observing nature, trying to learn from nature. Now, over time, as civilizations developed, then they began to cultivate food about 14,000 years ago. They were no longer hunters and gatherers. And the foods that they cultivated were oftentimes selected not necessarily on what was most nutritious, but what was easiest to cultivate, what yielded the greatest harvest, and what would provide the most substance, the most sustenance for them. So the first compromise in food, the first great compromise in food, is when we began to grow food. We grow food that was the easiest to grow, the easiest to store, and the easiest to eat. And so again, from the very beginning of time, we have started to compromise our ability and the methods that we use to select food. And so what I want to do is show you a modern method of selecting which foods are going to be right for you. I'm going to turn you into a modern day hunter and gatherer. And so we want to select only those foods that have the most profound impact on our life. Only those foods that have the greatest ability to provide us with a long life free from disease. So in order to do that, we have to drop in and we're going to learn about something called phytochemistry. Now, we've heard about biohacking, and biohacking is this using food, using phytochemistry, using plant medicine to profoundly impact your physiology, your metabolism, and your health. And the ultimate biohacking is done through something that we call phytochemistry. Now, phyto is the Greek word P-H-Y-T-O. Phyto is the Greek word for plant. And if it's a plant that comes from the land, it's referred to as a phyto. And if it's a plant that comes from the sea, it's referred to as phyco, a plant from the earth or a plant from the sea. Now, what we have done is put together different phyto and different phycoplexes where we select those foods that we believe have the greatest ability to provide life and energy and wellness and power to our body. And we call those foods superfoods. And the method of discovering those, the method of studying those, the method of identifying those is called phytochemistry. And phytochemistry, once again, is the study of what is in those plants and what plants can we use to maximize our wellness, to maximize our health and our longevity. And what exactly is a superfood? What exactly is phytochemistry? Well, a superfood is a food that is far superior to any other food. Let's say that there's a superstar at playing basketball. Now, there may be 10,000 basketball players, and there are 10,000 edible species of plants on Earth. And if you took every player in the NBA, and every player that plays major college basketball, and every player that plays Division II college basketball, you're going to have about 10,000 basketball players. And all of them are going to be very good basketball players. At the very least, they're going to be competent. So let's call them, a general basketball player. But what about those who rise above? What about those who are the best of the best? Well, if you were to take, let's say, 2 players who are the best in the NBA, they would probably be more effective than 10 players who were, let's say, an average college basketball talent. The reason I'm saying that is to illustrate that when food is put on the table, that not all food is created equal. Some foods actually have a superior source of vitamins and minerals, a superior source of protein, a superior type of fat, a superior type of carbohydrate, because not all foods are created equal. Not all carbohydrates, not all proteins, not all fats, and not all nutrients are created equal. In fact, some are far superior to others. One carbohydrate may actually lead you to get diabetes. Another might give you sustained energy and endurance and actually build up your health. And so, what my goal is of this show is to take you through this lesson, through this food plan, to examine every source of protein, carbohydrate, fat, fiber, etc., and to show you which are your best selections, which are going to nourish you, which are going to fulfill your desires, your goals, your wants, and your needs as a human being. And in doing so, you are going to learn a profound lesson about what you should be eating, what you should not be eating. And hopefully, you are going to apply those lessons. Now, here's what we know. We know that superfoods are going to provide every nutrient, every sustenance, every quality that you are desiring from food. And when you look at what we call the standard American diet, it is going to be deficient, is going to leave you without the quality, but also without the quantity of nutrients that you need. Now, this is vitally important. It's vitally important for one single reason, that when you fail to provide the body with the amount of nutrients that it needs on a daily basis, your body actually begins to suffer from something called nutrient deficiencies. Now, nutrient deficiencies, when they are exaggerated, when they are at the very high level, could actually lead to death. One example is vitamin C. When sailors went out to the ocean without enough food that had vitamin C, they would develop a disease called scurvy, and many of them would die. Over 1 million people a year died from scurvy before the discovery of vitamin C. And that simple nutrient deficiency, that simple vitamin C deficiency, prevented their body from functioning properly. It is an essential nutrient, and without vitamin C, our body will not metabolize protein, carbohydrate, or fat. Did you know that? Without vitamin C, your body cannot metabolize protein, carbohydrate, or fat. And it doesn't take a lot of vitamin C. It just takes about 30 milligrams a day. About the same you would get in a baked potato. About the same as you would get in an orange. So it's not that difficult to get nutrients so long as you know the source. But what if you never ate fruit? What if you never ate a baked potato? What if you never ate chili peppers? Then you would actually be deficient in vitamin C and could suffer from a disease that could lead to your death because of a single nutrient that's missing in your body. Now, that is at the highest level. When you have a great nutrient deficiency, you will have a greater sort of malady, a greater impact on your body. But what I have found is that most people are suffering from multiple low-level nutrient deficiencies. Most people are suffering from multiple low-level nutrient deficiencies, and as a result, they were suffering in multiple ways. There are many things that are not going right in their body. Maybe they're not sleeping right. Maybe they don't feel rested. Maybe they get foggy in their thinking. It could be any number of things. Slow reaction times. Your immune system could be compromised. You might be constipated. You might have a bad memory. You could have acne. You could start to develop any number of skin conditions. You see, nutrient deficiencies manifest themselves as trouble in your body. And so phytochemistry is nothing more than identifying those foods that have the maximum potential to nourish your body. So this lesson, today's lesson on, again, what is our purpose and what is our philosophy? Well, our purpose is to end human suffering. And our philosophy is to use phytochemistry to nourish our body at the cellular level to dramatically impact your health and your body in ways that you never imagined possible. So once again, my name is David Sandoval. You have just watched the first edition of Drop In with Dave. And I hope that you now understand the philosophy and the purpose behind this program. And I want you to drop in with me as often as you can. I want you to share this channel with those that you would care to, and subscribe to it as well, because we have a lot of information to share. We're going to be here together every single day. And I hope that you are going to take information away from this show that is going to allow you to make better decisions in your life. Because when you make better choices, when you make a single decision, everything in your life could change. So I'm inviting you not only to tune into this show, I'm inviting you to ask yourself, are you ready? Are you ready for a profound change in your life? Are you ready to reach heights that you might have only imagined at some point and now maybe don't any longer believe that you're capable of? So I want to share one story with you to let you know that it's never too late, and that once you make that decision, once you make a personal decision to change your own life, that we are going to be here with answers, with tools, and you're going to accomplish those goals. So let's talk about Van Gogh. Yeah, let's talk about Vincent van Gogh. Do you know that he was homeless, jobless, poor, destitute, and being supported by his mother and his brother, who regularly sent him money, just enough to get a room, just enough to get some food, just enough to be part of the artist community that he so loved. And not so much the artist community of painters, just the artist community who had that vagabond lifestyle. And his parents and his brother told him that they would support this lifestyle till he was 30 years old, but then he would have to grow up, get a real job, and begin to support himself. Well, at the age of 30, he had not yet decided what his purpose was, had not yet developed a philosophy on life. He did not have a direction. And so his mother told him, I'm sorry, I cannot support you any longer. But his brother decided he would. Well, 2 years later, his mother receives a letter from no one less than Vincent van Gogh. And it says, Mother, I have decided. I have made a decision. I am going to be a painter. Now, he's 33 years old, never picked up a paintbrush in his life, and yet he's decided he's going to be a painter. Well, that was a very good decision. And despite perhaps the skepticism and even the laughter of those around him, that was his decision. And once he made it, he could not be dissuaded. Well, as you know, he went on to be rejected by Salvador Dali, went on to be rejected by all of the great artists of the time, who said he was undisciplined and untrainable and really a bit of a rebel. Well, that undisciplined, untrainable rebel became perhaps the greatest, if not one of the greatest, impressionist artists in history. And his impact on art is unmistakable. And so I want you to know that your body is a work of art, that you are a masterpiece, and that when you make a decision, when you finally make that decision that you are going to be healthy, that you are going to take your future and your destiny into your own hands, I want you to know that right here on Drop In with Dave, each and every day, we're going to be going through lessons. We're going to be examining the most profound health questions of our time, the most incredible challenges that we're facing. And I'm going to provide you with simple, scientific, and natural solutions so that you can begin to take control of your own destiny, of your own body, remembering that the quality of the life that you live will be equal to the quality of the food that you eat. And when you consume pure superfoods, that your health will be pure, your health will be super. And when you consume those compromised foods, those foods that have not been created with quality in mind, with integrity in mind, then your health will not be quality. Your health will not have integrity. And so it's important with every choice that you make, with every decision you make, you have to understand that the end of that decision is an impact. And every decision you've ever made has had a profound impact on your body. And a series of bad decisions has always led to a series of bad things happening in your life. And those series of good decisions have always led to a series of good things happening in your life. And so I want you to use, this inspiration. I want you to use this knowledge. And I want to leave you with a basic philosophy that was taught to me by one of my mentors, Ann Wigmore. And Ann told me that if you want to be a great healer, if you want to heal yourself, if you want to offer healing advice to others, that you need not be a doctor, you need not be a extremely wise person in the ways of nutrition or phytochemistry or anything like that. You need to only know two simple lessons. That when you nourish the cells and when you detoxify the cells, that your body is going to become a profound and powerful healing machine. And that our bodies require a certain level of nutrients on a daily basis. Our cells require a certain number of phytochemicals on a daily basis. And when we fail to consume the food that provides our body with those nutrients, with that phytochemistry, then we develop nutrient deficiencies. We develop phytochemical deficiencies. And those deficiencies can only be reversed by nourishing the body, by consuming nutrient-dense superfoods. And when you nourish the body and you provide the cells with all of the materials they need, it's a little bit like providing an army with the best weapons on the planet. And if an army had the best weapons on the planet, they could defend the homeland that much better. And so providing your body, your internal army, with the most powerful weapons in the form of phytochemistry is the first step. But the second step is to get rid of the enemy. And the enemy are the toxins that have come into your body over your lifetime. The toxins that continue to reside in your cells, in your tissue, in your blood. And by eliminating those toxins, by detoxifying the body, then it's a lot like cleaning up the kitchen. If you've ever tried to make dinner and there's dirty dishes in the sink and the counters are full of scraps of food from a previous meal and the pots and pans aren't clean, it's a really bad time to start making a meal. Well, it's a really bad time to start repairing your body if your body is full of toxins. And it's almost impossible for your body's internal chef to start cooking up really good stuff for you when the kitchen is really dirty. So detoxification must precede and go hand in hand with nourishment. And when you clean out that kitchen, when you clean out your cupboards, when you clean out the internal waste that is building up, then you're going to clear the way for a profound healing to take place in your body. And so, once again, you've been listening to the first official edition of Drop In with Dave. And I wanted to share my philosophy and my purpose so that you will continue to join me. And I wanted to share a little bit of wisdom so that you will continue to trust me. And so I will hope that you will join me. I hope that you will be a regular attendee on my YouTube channel. I hope that you'll subscribe, and I hope that you'll share it with others. So I want to remind you of what our lessons of today were. Our lessons were that the quality of your life will be equal to the quality of the food that you eat. And if you love yourself and you love life, then you're going to want more out of life. You're going to want more out of your body. And when you make that decision, when you make the profound decision that you love yourself enough to treat yourself better, you're going to need access to the knowledge and to the tools to make that happen. And that is the purpose of this show. That is our philosophy, that food is your medicine, that you are your own healer, and that knowledge is power. And that when you are provided with that knowledge, that you will be empowered. And when you are empowered, you, along with me, us together, are going to make a far greater impact on the planet, on the future of this, our species, the survival of our species for the next 7 generations of children who will come after us. And so it starts, again, where we are. It starts at home. Just as Gandhi said, the change that we seek in the world must begin at home. And so I'm dedicated to being with you in your home, Monday through Friday, for a short 30 minutes each day. And today was just an introduction. Today was just my way of saying hello. But starting again tomorrow, and each day, Monday through Friday thereafter, I'm going to be answering questions and talking about the most profound issues that affect us as a society. So I want you to tune in tomorrow, where I'm going to ask you to come along a journey with me. And we're going to talk about food. We're going to talk about protein, carbohydrates, fats, and fiber. And we're going to talk about how you could select foods with the highest quality possible in each of those categories. I'm also going to introduce you to a very, very profound subject that is close, very close to my heart. And I'm going to that will be revealed, of course, in our next episode. So until then, I want to give you a little bit of homework. Until our next show, I want to ask you to do a little bit of research. I want you to go on the internet and I want you to research dangers of Roundup. Dangers of Roundup. Roundup is the chemical that's being used on our lawns, and it actually is a commercial name for glyphosate that's being used in commercial farming and in all types of agricultural practices and at parks, etc. And I want to raise awareness as to the danger that Roundup and glyphosate are posing in our environment. But first, as your homework assignment, I want to ask you to go to the internet. I want you to Google the dangers of Roundup, the dangers of glyphosate, Glyphosate. And I think that you are going to begin to become aware and be informed of one of the greatest dangers facing mankind today. And one of my promises at the beginning of this show is that I am not only going to inform you about the dangers that are all around you, about the dangers that are going to dramatically, potentially harm you in your lifetime and the people you love. I'm going to warn you about those dangers, but I'm going to go beyond that. And I'm going to give you the tools. I'm going to give you the power to do something about it. So thank you for joining me. We are going to do a lot more of this, and we may have gotten started, I don't know, we got started slowly, We didn't jump into a lot of real depth, but we are going to get into that depth because we have Monday through Friday, each and every day, to be together. So until tomorrow, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for dropping in. And I look forward to having you drop in again tomorrow.